everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ali V, and my channel is all about the occult, astrology, tarot, all things space, and I also love science, so sometimes I talk about that too. Generally speaking, this channel is all about exploring the unknown and understanding yourself through astrology and tarot. If you're interested in this stuff, please like and subscribe, and looking forward to talking about tarot with you in my video. So tarot is something that is very near and dear to my heart. It's something that has gotten me through a lot of trouble, a lot of trials and tribulations throughout my life. I'm a very intuitive person that has a lot of trouble differentiating anxiety and intuition sometimes. So when I experience that, what I like to do is turn to the power of the cards. During this video, I'm actually going to be using the Last Unicorn tarot that I got from geekifyinc.com. And this deck is absolutely gorgeous, and it's going to give me a chance to kind of show off some of the beautiful artwork. They had like over a dozen different artists working on it. And funny enough, the Last Unicorn story has a lot of tarot undertones to it, so it really fits in with the theme really well, and there's a lot of symbolism and characters that align with the story of tarot. So tarot began around the 15th century. Royalty in Italy basically created this. They had hired people to come up with different major and minor arcana. There's 78 total cards in the deck. 22 of them are major arcana. They're also known as trump cards. The other 56 are minor arcana. So I'm going to be going over the themes of the major arcana and kind of briefly glossing over the other suits of tarot, because it's a lot of cards to go through one by one. And I really feel like understanding the major arcana cards will give you a good idea of what tarot is all about and some of the messages that it has inside. The tarot is considered cartomancy. In Latin, it basically just means divination through cards. And there's many different types of cartomancy out there. It's not just tarot. Like a regular deck you can use, like the regular deck you can play solitaire with. There are tarot decks, there are oracle decks as well, which I will cover briefly in another video where I talk about tarot versus oracle. And there's a couple other different card decks out there that maybe I don't even know about. So humans have been doing this for hundreds and hundreds of years. And it wasn't until 1909 where Rider Waite came out with the widely used, even in the modern day, tarot. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through some of the major arcana. So the first card is gonna be the Fool. And the Fool card, briefly, is a card of new beginnings. It's a card of fresh starts. This card is all about the adventure and going into the unknown. Can represent naivety. That's the very beginning of the journey. So the tarot is kind of like astrology. So if you watch my other astrology videos about the zodiac, how the zodiac is basically a whole compass of the human experience from start to finish. This is also the same. So it has the same kind of undertones and the same kind of meanings and stuff. And also, these cards are associated with certain zodiac signs. So some zodiac signs are going to be present in the deck as well. So the next card we have is the Magician card. And the Magician card is all about mastering your craft. And you can see here the symbols, the cups, the swords, the pentacles, and the wands. Oh, sorry, got that confused. This card is all about basically manifesting your vision and getting really good and mastering something. It also is kind of like a creation card. And you can see how he's kind of conjuring all four of these. And these represent the minor arcana. So these are all the different suits of the card. And also they represent different elements too. So he's kind of like, you know, he's getting it. The next card is the High Priestess card. I love this card so much. Anytime I get it, I feel a very deep connection to it. And the reason why is because the High Priestess card is all about your intuition. It's all about like unseen and untold deep subconscious thoughts that you're having that you might not even realize that you're having. So this card, if you ever get it pulled, it just basically means to trust your gut instinct, and things aren't always what they seem to be. The next one is the Empress card. I love this card. This is like the mom card. This is the divine feminine card. So if you see this when you pull, it basically means that there is a person out there that either wants to take care of you or has been taking care of you, or there's very nurturing and caring energy around you. This usually represents a person to me, not even just like an energy, but it's always good to get this card in a reading. And of course we have the Emperor. So the Emperor is an Aries card, and this is all about basically boss energy. It's about creating structure, getting things done, being assertive. It represents aggression, but also creating foundation. And masculine energy is all about creating a structure and almost like a place of safety that more things can be built upon. The next one is the Hierophant, and this one is a Taurus card. This one has to do with tradition and conformity and like religion. It has to do with like basically non-innovative ideas and practicality. So when you see this card, it's probably asking you to be more practical about your question, or maybe it's talking about a Taurus in your life or you specifically. Next we have the Lovers card. This is a really pretty card. This actually represents Gemini in the zodiac. So if you happen across the Lovers card in a reading, it's directly correlated to the relationships that you have with other people, the blending of the opposites, feminine and masculine energy, and it's all about your interpersonal relationships with others. It's a very straightforward card. For some reason in this deck, they gave me 2 of the Lovers cards, and I think they just couldn't decide which one to go with. But this one's really funny because it's got Schmendrick, and he was trying to get free from this tree because he got tied up by the bandits, and he accidentally turned the tree into this like busty tree woman who falls in love with him, and he's just like, shit. Anyway, that movie's really weird. I like it. Oh, we have a berry. Hi, berry. Clean yourself. You're so sweet. Okay, the next card we have is the Chariot card. This card is really cool. I like this card because the art is like really awesome looking. This card is all about charging forth and kind of just going for what you want and not letting anything get in your way. The next card is the Strength card, and this one is a Leo card. So if you're a Leo, this is your card. If you know a Leo and you pull it, it might be representing them. This card is all about the mind over matter and not backing down from challenges and just being strong and courageous in the face of opposition. The next one we have is the Hermit card. And the Hermit card, I really like this card. I know it sounds kind of like, oh, Hermit, but it's a card of introspection, it's a card of reflection, and it's also the card of Virgo. And this is called the Hermit card because it's asking you to step away from outside influences and look within and think about your life, think about your goals or something that's troubling you, and use your inner wisdom to help guide you. And yeah, it's basically just asking you to have some patience and look inward on whatever it is that you're trying to figure out from the cards. The Wheel of Fortune card is an interesting card. This card basically, it's actually a little bit complicated because it really depends on the context, but usually it's a sign of good luck. It usually means that luck has turned in your favor. And it also kind of like represents, things like you reap what you sow and there are consequences to what you are trying to do, but usually it's a good sign when you see the World card. Next we have the Justice card. And this card is a Libra card, as you can probably tell from the scales here. And the Justice card is really all about fairness and harmony, and just kind of seeing all sides of a story. Next we have the Hangman. This is a card about being in limbo, as you can imagine, like just hanging there. And this is like the ultimate limbo card, and this card is basically just saying like, if you see it in your deck or you see it in your pull, it means that you might be hung up on something, or there's energy being hung up on maybe your question or whatever it is that you're asking the cards. It could also represent someone who is kind of stuck. Next we have Death. This card is probably the scariest card for most people out there who don't understand tarot, but the Death card's kind of like its energy is very slow, and it's basically, it just means an end to something. It doesn't mean an end to life itself. It means an end to a cycle. It means an end to maybe something that has been long coming. The Death card is represented by Scorpio, and it's all about transformation and change. There are a couple different transformation and change cards in this deck, but they mean completely different, like they have different like energies to them. But yeah, don't be afraid of this card. It's actually a good card. And next we have Temperance. Temperance is a Sagittarius card. And this one is kind of similar to me, at least to Justice, because it's all about just being patient and making sure that you are looking at all sides of a problem and you're not trying to have, you know, confirmation bias to something, and you're just taking the time to really think through something. Like you're not judging something by it's what it appears to be. The next one we have is the Devil card. Again, not a card to be feared. It's just kind of like an undertone of like what the devil means like in the Bible. It's not saying you're possessed by the devil. It's basically just saying don't give in to the shadow side of yourself. Like everyone has a darkness inside of them, and this card is just saying, hey, be careful. It's a warning card, also represented by Capricorn, so there's a lot of Saturn energy in here. It basically is just asking you to transmute that energy into something good. And next we have the Tower card. This card is like one of the cards that haunts me. If you do tarot enough, which I've been doing it for about maybe 5 or 6 years at this point, you're gonna have that one card that just kind of follows you everywhere. And this is my card. And this card is one of the change cards. My life is super crazy and chaotic. I have lived all over the country at this point. I've had over 20 different jobs. I have been kind of struggling, but you know, whatever, it's no big deal. But this card has been a theme for me. So this card is a card of sudden chaos and like sudden upheaval. It is a sudden change, a sudden bolt of lightning. And it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. It really depends on the context of what you're looking into with your cards. Onto a more hopeful card. This is the Star card. This card is represented by Aquarius, and it is one of the most beautiful cards I think in this deck, and also just in the meaning of it itself. Like I love this card. This is all about divine blessings and, you know, following your North Star. And yeah, this is like the ultimate hope card. And if you ever get it, it means that you're just on the right track and you're doing the right thing. Next we have the Moon card. And this one is a Pisces card, and it represents the moon. And the moon, it's not just the moon, but like the dark side of the moon. So the Moon card is like, it's my anxiety card. So if I see the Moon card, it means that there's some sort of anxious energy happening, whether it's me or whether it's a situation or whether it's another person. It could also represent a Pisces or you if you are a Pisces. And this card just basically says that there may be things unseen that be in the mix that, you know, you should probably consider. It's an unconscious card. So it's you know, it's hard to describe, but it's one of those like energy cards. And we can't have the sun without, we can't have the moon without the sun. So here's the Sun card. This card is one of the best cards you can get to. The Sun card is a card of just like pure optimism, happiness, joy of living. I mean, if you get this, like you're living your best life. Or I really like this card. It reminds me of like child energy, like the joy of being a child is what this card is. So if you see it, it's a very sunny, positive sign. And next we have Judgment. This card is all about taking everything that you've learned and kind of moving on to the next phase and having faith in yourself, and also not doubting what you might see on the outside. And the Judgment takes you one more step closer to the World card, which is the end of the Major Arcana and it's basically the end of the cycle. The World card represents like pure fulfillment. It represents a full heart. It's a really positive change card. And I would say the worst change cards would be Tower, Death, and then the World. So the World being the best. Something has come to a close, but it's a good close. It's a close of victory, of achievement. And it's basically telling you to take everything that you've learned up until this point and move it into the next phase of your life and adventure. Cool, so now that we understand some of the Major Arcana, I'm going to talk about the Minor Arcana. So the Minor Arcana kind of represent everyday life. It represents everyday situations. So the Major Arcana is kind of the overarching major events in life, and then the Minor Arcana are like, you know, kind of the minor things that you might come across in your experience as a human being in this world. We're going to start with the swords, and the sword suit is basically associated with the element of air. So swords is going to have all the air energy. It's going to talk about intellect, communication, the power of the mind. It can indicate decision-making, conflict, communication, breakdowns, but it also can provide clarity, truth, and mental fortitude. So as a reminder, air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, and those signs are represented by swords. So if you get a lot of swords in your reading, it could be referring to a lot of air sign energy. Could be yourself, could be other people. Here's a little Four of Swords example here. Cups is gonna be associated with water, all the water signs. So Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Cups is all about the unconscious and the subconscious. It's all about emotion. It's all about intuition, all things watery. So here's an example of a Cups card. This is the Ace of Cups. Okay, next we're going to talk about coins, and coins, aka pentacles, are associated with earth. So if you're an earth sign, coin is your suit, and coins are all about the material realm. It's all about your career. It's about your foundation, your home. It also represents physical health and practicality. It also can relate to self-worth and the need for grounding. As a reminder, the earth signs are Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Okay, next we have wands. The wand suit is actually also known as rods, and this is the fire suit. Wands basically represent energy, passion, and ambition. They can also indicate creativity, career growth, impulsivity, and the need for discipline. As a reminder, the cards that wands represent are going to be Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. That's all the information that I have for you today about tarot, the major and minor arcana. Oh shit! Check back again for another video going over the more minor arcana cards. I will be going through every suit in its own video because it might take a while to explain everything, and I'll also be doing videos where I explain how to do different card spreads. And thank you guys so much for watching my video. If you have any questions, or if you're doing your own tarot readings and are stuck or need more help understanding certain cards, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to help. And also be on the lookout for your tarot reading that I'm going to be planning next month. I will be releasing every sign's tarot reading, so check that out. And yeah, thank you so much for watching again, and have a great night. Peace.